Lots of reports and rumours have been coming out speculating over Ten Hag's future at United. Will he stay? Will he go? Will INEOS keep him? Will INEOS get rid? But actually, new reports are coming out suggesting that actually it could be Ten Hag's decision. Ten Hag might not want to be part of this new INEOS project as they change rules and recruitment and want to change the style of play. And Ten Hag does not want to abandon his principles. Could he walk away from United at the end of the season? The Manchester United players are doubting that he's going to be here next season. Is that impacting the squad morale, the dressing room? What are reports on that? But also there is an incoming coming hopefully very soon in a recruitment officer, and Manchester United are looking at a very, very good person to come in and help with Dan Ashworth and Jason Wilcox and Omar Brada in recruitment. This is the guy who found Eze, this is the guy who found Elise. We'll talk about the latest on that, as well as INEOS ready to get brutal when they clear out. Do not mess with INEOS. So let's get into the video. Please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe down below if you're new. I'm going to dive into the first story here. It was said Manchester United players are increasingly doubtful that manager Erik ten Hag will be in charge next season. Ten Hag himself has confided to coaching staff and agents that he has no guarantee over his future at United. Erik ten Hag still has the support of the Manchester United dressing room despite some complaints over the intensity of his training regime. However, many in the United squad believe it's likely that INEOS will make the change at the end of the season, and there is a belief that Erik ten Hag needs to freshen up the sessions and go easier on the Man United players to keep the rest of them fit for the rest of the campaign. So we've got two different stories sort of going about here. First of all, players doubting whether Ten Hag is going to be here next season, which to be fair is understandable. There's a lot of speculation, things aren't going well, more injuries are happening, it doesn't look like anything's going to be turned around, and there's a serious possibility he does leave with all the rumours of INEOS looking at other managers, which aren't exactly the most reliable. But when you look at the performances, when you look at the results, there is a feeling Ten Hag could go. However, Ten Hag's been, not got much to do. He's got a very poor team. He's had a lot of injuries, had a lot of trouble, and he proved last season what he can do. So INEOS might give him time, but no one really knows the future of Ten Hag, which I'm sure is probably being felt in the dressing room, that uncertainty over the manager and the future. I don't think it can be easy. And there are a few players that have turned on Ten Hag recently. Well, I say recently, this has been known for a while, or sort of don't like Ten Hag's training regime. So the other story was talking about sort of they believe that Ten Hag's intense training in the week with Mitchell van der Gaard is contributing to injuries. And normally I'm massively against player leaks, especially player leaks that suggest the players are complaining about running and having to train too hard with the money they're on. But I do think with the amount of muscular injuries we have this season, that there is a possibility that the players do have a point. Maybe Erik ten Hag needs to not train as intensely in the week, because Pep doesn't do intense training in the week because he knows how demanding his game is at the weekend. They do lighter sessions the week. Maybe Ten Hag needs to do more lighter sessions with the squad, just to sort of help with injuries. But at the same time, I also feel like we're just so incredibly unfit compared to other teams, and I feel like the other teams work harder than us. So I understand Ten Hag wanting to crack down and say, no, you're not having a day off, you're not having a light session today because we need to do better. I can understand it from both perspectives. I think the fact that the leak is coming out and that players have turned on Ten Hag because they don't like his training regime is pathetic. I think players are complaining they've got to run a lot of the Ten Hag is a little bit pathetic. But I do think with the injury crisis we've had, maybe we do need to go a little bit lighter in training. Maybe that's the only sort of point that could sort of back it up. But I'm just kind of fed up with the leaks and kind of fed up with the players, if I'm going to be in all honesty with you. And those leaks are quite old. But I want to get into reports on Ten Hag's future. And these were Jim Ratcliffe's comments. We'll decide that that a team of people, it will be us plus CEO, sporting director, and probably recruitment guys, what style of football that will be for Manchester United. And the coach will have to play that style. So Ratcliffe says him, Omar Brada, Dan Ashworth, they're going to decide what kind of style of football they want United to play, and they're going to have a coach to do that. He says we're not going to oscillate from Mourinho style to Guardiola style. That's not the way we'll run the club. Otherwise, you're changing everything all the time. You change your coach, you've got the wrong squad, the wrong trainer. You won't do that. In modern football, you need to decide what's your path and stick with it. And I've said this before, and Ratcliffe's now said this. Essentially, INEOS's plan is to have a way that they want to play and then bring in a coach to do that. Whether, or maybe keep Ten Hag to do that if they believe that he'll do that. Whether Ten Hag will stay, that's the thing we're going to get into. INEOS basically want a way that Man United play. Rather than sacking Ten Hag and getting Mourinho, then having to get players that play Mourinho way, we're going to consistently buy players over the next 10 years that all play this one sort of attacking style of football, this style of football, and we'll just get a coach to do that. So when one coach leaves, it's not going to be drastic. Oh, we've got another coach that completely different. Oli Mourinho, Ten Hag were completely different managers, but we've got players from all three squads that have completely different strengths. It was also said by Jim Ratcliffe that thirdly, you need to create this environment which is driven, competitive. It's going to be intense at times, but equally it needs to have warmth and friendliness and be supportive structure, because two things marry together well. They probably haven't had that environment for the last 10 years. If we get those things right, then you have to follow, and we believe the results will follow. So I think Ratcliffe's spot on. I think the most important thing that we're going to focus on right now is the environment, and that isn't changing Ten Hag, that's in changing the environment. It's improving the recruitment, improving the environment, so Ten Hag has the best chance of succeeding. But they want to play a certain style of football, they're going to address that, and if Ten Hag doesn't play that way, he could be sacked. But they might keep Ten Hag and say, yeah, we believe that you can play this way. But this is the problem, because Ten Hag only said a week ago that he will never move from his principles. After the game against Fulham, he said he will never move from his principles. So if Ten Hag stays, he's going to have to play someone else's football, which we know Ten Hag is against. INEOS have this way that they'll want us to play, and Ten Hag's got to play the way of football that INEOS want us to play. And people are suggesting, will Ten Hag actually want to work under INEOS, because Ten Hag is insistent on playing his way, even if it's not working at the moment because of injuries. He's insistent on playing his way. One thing we know about Ten Hag is he's very stubborn. Will he want to work under INEOS if INEOS is saying, no, we want you to play that way? Could there be controversy there? But also, Erik Ten Hag made it clear he wouldn't join a job and wouldn't join a club that don't give him, a lot of freedom over transfers. And he obviously has got that in his first 2 seasons at United. But INEOS are ready to strip Ten Hag of a lot of control and power he has over transfers. Could Erik Ten Hag be annoyed about that? Erik Ten Hag not being able to play the style of football he wants to play and being stripped of transfer powers are two things that he said, he must be there when he joins a club, when he works for a football club, that INEOS could take. Could Ten Hag's exit be inevitable? Could Ten Hag want to go? I don't think Ten Hag will want to go, and I think Ten Hag will maybe willingly adapt bits and pieces, but he is quite stubborn. And if INEOS say you've got to play this way, and you've got to do this and you've got to do that, and when you're not getting power over transfers, he might go. Now, I think INEOS will give him a say over transfers. I think INEOS will be lenient with him and understand it's the first season. And I think INEOS aren't going to completely control him, but I think his power will be a lot less, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I think it's very obvious that Man United want to establish a style and way that they want to play. Diving into the next story, we're going to talk about a potential head of recruitment coming in, because I like Ten Hag. I want Ten Hag to succeed. I want the right environment at United, so Ten Hag can have the best chances of succeeding, and that means recruitment needs to be better, because people will blame Ten Hag for Anthony, blame Ten Hag for Mount. Yes, Ten Hag of course had a say in those signings, but if we had a proper sporting director, we wouldn't have spent 85 million on Anthony. We probably would have gone for someone else instead of Mount and got Mount 3 now. It was said that United have decided on the top head of recruitment target, with an approach expected soon. So who's United's top target for head of recruitment? Well, reportedly, Dougie Freedman is. It was said that Manchester United have identified Dougie Freedman as the top target for head of recruitment, with Crystal Palace braced for an official approach this week. And that was said by One Football, that United are going to make an approach for Dougie Freedman this week. We know that Manchester United have been looking, following, watching Dougie Freedman for a while. They're a big fan of the guy, and it looks like they're going to make an approach for him this week. He's responsible for Eze, responsible for Elise, responsible for a lot of great young signings at Crystal Palace. And I think working alongside Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, and Omar Barada, I do think that sort of those 4 of them are a massive upgrade on the Fletcher, Wood, Edward Wood, Judge, Arnold, Mertens of the past. Massive upgrade as well. It was also said that Freedman's broader experience may also aid the current situation, as United want this position to be filled and in quality and then work quickly, due to the fact that both of the position superiors, prospective technical director Dan Ashworth and Chief Omar Barada, have been on gardening leave. There's a feeling that Omar Barada comes in for summer. Dan Ashworth hopefully should be in summer. Hopefully that deal gets agreed. There's reports that compensation is very close to being agreed for around 10 million. But then someone like Dougie Freedman comes in and works on top of them. And going from Arnold and Murta to these guys, what a map upgrade. Now I want to talk about one final story, and that is that INEOS shouldn't be messed with. INEOS could sack Ten Hag. Ten Hag might decide to leave because INEOS are going to strip him of power. INEOS are very much like, we know what we want, we're going to get it, we're not going to faff around anymore. And look how many names are reportedly going to be released, or Man United will be open to listening to offers for. Not all of these people will go or will sell, but a lot of these names, will consider offers for. Amrabat, Martial, Evans will likely leave on the free. Donny, Sancho, Anthony, they'll listen to offers for. Greenwood, Pellistri, Mesbury, I'm sure they'll listen to offers for. FFP, Youth, Ericsson, McTominay, Casemiro, Brandon Williams, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, and Maguire, Varane. Manchester United are open to listen to offers for all of those players. INEOS are very much like, we want those players out. That's what we're going to do. We want Dougie Freedman in, we want Dan Ashworth in, we want Omar Barada, we want the structure sorted. Once we've got the players out, once we've got the structure sorted, which is what they're working on right now, they might address the manager situation, and they might say, you know what, we're going to back Ten Hag, we believe you can do well, but we want to play this way. And Ten Hag might not want to play that way of football, and Ten Hag may walk, or Ten Hag might say, okay, you know what, we're going to play this way, because he's at Man United, the biggest club in the world, why would you want to leave? There could be a lot going on, but I think there will be a lot of players out. I think Ten Hag's future is definitely at risk, and I hope Ten Hag does well. I hope he stays, but I'm not confident that he will. But I think INEOS are ready to be brutal and, you know, crack down. Do I think Ten Hag will walk away from United? I doubt it. I doubt it. I think there's an opportunity to stay. He'll stay. But I guess you never know. We're just sort of speculating on the news there. Hopefully, Ten Hag does a really good job, keeps his job. We have a really good summer, and next season we look back on track. That's the best case scenario. Because I feel like, while I understand if INEOS wants to sack Ten Hag or Ten Hag leaves because Ten Hag doesn't play the way that they want to play, I just think, if you sack the manager, you change the whole squad, you change the whole structure, could that be too many changes in one window? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. Bye.